Hi kids and parents, Coach Rob here. We're going to talk a little bit today about Ted Williams and the science of hitting. Ted Williams produced this book back in the day, and he discusses how to swing the bat with a rising plane to maximize the time that the bat exists in the same plane as the incoming pitch. Today we're going to work on 4 vocabulary words. The first is linear motion. The second, rotational motion. The third, transition. And the fourth is the plane of the swing. One problem coaches have with communicating with younger kids, ages 5 to 8, is communicating on their level. So we're going to show some drills and games that allow young kids to understand these concepts in a meaningful way. First, let's look at some big league hitters and see how they incorporate these concepts into their swing. The following clip is from Right View Pro, available at rightviewpro.com under the YouTube tab. It's narrated by Don Slott, a 16-year veteran of the MLB.
On the screen, we have Albert Pujols, Alex Rodriguez, and Alfonso Soriano, along with Miguel Cabrera. You can see that they're all very different in their stance, but they all start from an athletic position with their head between their knees and their knees between their feet. And they all have a comfortable two-eyed look at the ball.
Here it's important to watch the player's hips. It's important to note that their hips move forward with little to no rotation. They're driving their hips straight toward the pitcher. This is the definition of linear motion. During linear motion, it's important to note that the hips travel further than the shoulders and head. Note the blue and red lines. The player's hips tend to swing under the shoulders and head. As the hitter's toe and then heel of the front foot hit the ground, we start the transition from linear motion into rotational motion. Without the linear motion, it's harder to generate the rotational motion. At contact and follow-through, we need to note that the hips have actually traveled further than the shoulders and eyes, producing a green line that slopes backwards. In order to teach young kids these concepts of how to hit, it's important to communicate with them on their level. Now, 5 and 6-year-olds learn in kindergarten how to march in place. Well, let's teach them how to march in place in accordance with baseball. This has to have a little bit more to do with marching like a drum major and a little bit like a golf swing. So let's start them off with their feet at shoulder width and out here in front. Now all we're going to do is bring our arm back as we raise our front toe and come down this way. So we're marching this way. For linear motion, what we're going to do is keep their belt buckle facing straight towards an observer. And we're going to have them get jiggy with it and really move the hips. From there, let's widen up the stance a little bit. So keeping the rear foot square, keep the knee inside of the rear foot, and let's work on raising that front toe and coming here. Now we're going to start to, this is the transition. We're starting to translate from linear motion into rotational motion. And we're going to want to bring our belt buckle forward and towards the pitcher. Once kids have mastered linear motion and a bit of the transition into rotational motion, now we can start to incorporate a step, a stride. We're looking to reach with our heel up and out. We don't want to land with our foot like this. We want to use that as part of our rotational energy. Landing like this has a tendency of opening the front shoulder, having the kid swing up, falling away. A lot of big problems. So, we're starting from here. We're working this type of motion, just linear motion, keeping our hips square. We're spreading it out a little bit. We're working on starting the transitional motion, and then we're taking a stride, and we're looking to bring this back toe, or back foot up to the toe. Once young hitters have mastered the ability to create linear motion, to do a transition, to start rotational energy, it's time to start incorporating the arms. One way of doing this is a frisbee. Now, back in the day, my hitting coach used to have us throw a baseball bat over the second baseman's head, over the pitcher's head, over the shortstop's head, in order to get our arms in the proper sync with the rest of our body. A frisbee is a substitution for this old school method, and it can show actually even a couple of extra things. What we want to do is have them throw, a right-handed hitter, throw it with their left hand, but let's grab it here, and we're going to create a box. We want about a 90-degree right in here. The box should be aligned in their stance relatively vertically. And as there is a pitch, a high outside corner pitch, they're going to stride and they're going to align their box for an outside corner pitch. On the low inside corner pitch, they need to make less of an adjustment, and they're going to keep the plane of the frisbee more vertically oriented and release through here. Now what this looks like from this angle is if I'm hitting a high and outside corner pitch, I'm adjusting here and keeping my hands above the ball and extending towards right field. If it's a low and inside corner pitch, I'm staying here, I'm making less of an adjustment early, and I'm extending through here. This is where the extension comes through when we're swinging a bat.